Happy Wednesday, folks. So, again, my name's Albert, and I'm a fulfillment guide for warriors and your families out there. And I don't know if you know, but I was enlisted infantry in the late '90s, and went to over a longer period of time than I thought that I wanted to go through. I was selected for medevac, so I started out on the ground infantry dude, then went over to post 9/11, got picked up for selected for medevac. So I flew my long tour in Afghanistan in '09 and 10. So anyhow, and then when I got out, thank God I had at least a mentor who helped me as best he could. And I got 90% rating right out of the gate coming out of the Army. And like most of you guys, I didn't do anything. Here it is. What do we do, guys? Guys and gals out there, we look at pay charts for a long time. We look at pay charts and say, okay, hey, honey, we are a family of 4 now, and we are over in here, Italy, at this place. We're going to do jump pay and all that kind of stuff, and COLA and all that kind of stuff. And I did that too. I, over a 16-year period, served 10 years. So even when I wasn't serving, I'm fully aware of pay charts and that sort of thing. And I thought that, especially, I don't like to say the word disability, but that's what everybody knows, VA disability money being like, okay, 10% is 10% of this, and 20% means only 10% more than 10%, all that kind of fun stuff. But I never looked for, shame on me, but I never looked for a pay chart. And well, now that I know that the VA has them, I guess you'd say, there's money that's out there, and there's criteria, but it's not like the VA themselves give you a pay chart and tell you, hey, here's what's next. So, or here's what's out there. And that's why I say, guys, I'm a family business. I've worked for God for the past over 5 years, but not 10 years. So within 5 years, I've been able to help deliver $10 billion, again, God's grace, $10 billion to the deadliest humans on earth. So MARSOC, Delta, fighter pilots, 160th, all that stuff. You guys have been my clientele. Please don't let that scare you off. Because trust me, guys, I love Joe. I love being able to help everybody. Trust me, I love helping everybody. And by the way, I don't charge widows because I charge you guys, so I don't have to charge widows. Okay, see what I mean? So, but I do want to just keep bringing this back to the surface that, guys, what I've built and still building, there's always going to be under better construction, right? We always want to upgrade and update things. This is me hugging you, but it's also a night at the Knights of the Round Table. So there's me at the round table. I've proven myself. There's some marketing folks that are at the table. They've proven themselves. There's 2 attorneys at least at the table. And again, guys, you have free will, but the best attorneys that I can think of have already proven themselves to be at the table. So, and those guys happen to be in the same shop. And now I've got now I'm aiming for other folks. There's always a seat at the table, guys, but you have to earn it. And I had a meeting last week with a doctor out of a medical, a psych doc out of Tampa. And so we had the same conversation. Hey, let's announce after we've done great stuff that we've been working together, creating great stuff. Okay. So she doesn't have a seat at the table yet, but we're working on it. Okay. And that means she's already going to start getting connected with my clients and so on. So guys, I'm just telling you, I love to say the words yes and. So I get to, as God's child and a knight in God's army, and I'm looking over here because I know what I'm going to brief you guys, but I get to brief you guys on the 3 levels of money. And I've created these slides and briefed them for a long time, so I'm not going to brief every single penny, but I want you guys to know that yes, because everybody else out there, they're only siloed. And I don't want to call it their problem, but it turns into being more of your problem. So with my clients, when good stuff happens, you're still surrounded with the hug and the people that are around you and all that stuff. When good stuff happens and you get because my goal, guys, is to get you to 100% permanent total as quickly and compliantly as possible. I'll say it again slower. My number one goal is to get you to 100% permanent and total as quickly and compliantly as possible, because that's where 100% permanent total is not the end. It's the beginning of all awesomeness. It's worth, if you're let's say late 30, something-year-old retiree, you're worth probably from that point on over the next 40 years, you're worth like $5-6 million in both. I like to say yes and, big and, not little and. There's savings and money. So let's hit it, okay? You're worth a lot of money. And I'm not just briefing you guys. And again, that's basic family of four and all that kind of jazz. So, okay, I'm briefing off the thumbnail that I put out in front of you guys. So there's 3 levels of money, guys. Right now money. So there's right now money, mid-range money, and long-range death benefit money. And I like to, again, I'm going to do the hug. I like to make sure that my clients are covered with this hug. That, yes, when you die, an old man in your bed, most of you, old man in your bed, I want, by then, your family knows that the coroner is going to write down one thing. Hey, this guy died of, Albert died of belly issues. His digestive system shut down, and hey, VA, you need to pay his widow. My attorney will get on the phone and say, hey, Albert got called home last night. You need to pay Miss Winks her $3,000 a month for the rest of her life. Roger that, VA. Getting a good cha-ching money. That's what I talk about, stuff like that. So there's 3 levels again. Right now money, mid-range money for kids in college, and long-range death benefit money. So I'm not going to brief every penny, but the most of it comes from being right now. Okay. So yes, I know there's older people out there who say, well, I'm an empty nester, so that's behind me. Well, let me brief you on a couple of things that are right now money. So there's property tax removal and reduction. And by the way, the green bubbles, as you see, let me put a little disclaimer out there. The reason why these things are green is because in order to maximize these, the VA, your state, or others require you to be 100% permanent in total first. So you're seeing things like property tax, start from the top going to the right, clockwise. So property taxes, Texas, California, Florida, Nebraska charge about $1,000 a month. And there's almost 20 states now that have a complete removal of property taxes. So that starts as soon as you get to 100% permanent total for most of those states. So again, check your local state stuff. I have people who come to me just because of that. They're like, Albert, I don't really care about, quote, the disability money, but holy shit, man, property taxes are eating me alive. College for my kids is eating me alive. And I want to make sure my family is taken care of. When you get called, when God calls you home. So, okay, property taxes. Okay, just your increase alone to 100% permanent total. Today's dollars, it's about $5,000 a month for non-retirees like me. Again, everything is based off basic family of four. And so then if you're a retiree, even medically retired, you're worth about $3,000 more than that. It's called CRSC, which I'll brief you on here in a little bit. There is a tax refund, but usually my clients, I get you guys to 100% quick enough to where you're not having to get refunded for up to 3 years on that. But yes, I've had a client who was refunded. It's per year, and he got just shy of $28,000 by the time he was done with that. That was his money. All right, moving on around the corner here. So VOC rehab, which is now, I know it's called like VR&E, but again, guys, I call that pardon me, but the rotisserie of fuckery, where the VA can't change the middle part like the standard, but they can change weird words and do this and do that and all that kind of stuff to confuse you, and they're getting paid while you're not getting paid. So you see what I mean? All right, so VOC rehab, yes, it's yellow, it's not green, but I would say it's you like for example, I had I've got 2 master's degrees, well, almost 2 3/4, I guess you'd say, because I found this job and I was like, you know what, that's what I want to do. Anyhow, but so 2 3/4 master's degrees, and VOC rehab was paying for the second one. So yeah, and of course I was denied twice before approved the third time. Third time was a charm on that, on getting VOC rehab to pay for a master's degree. I'd first applied for a different master's because I was in law school for a time for a master's degree. That's a story for another time. I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to be one. So anyhow, moving on, SMCS. So SMCS, we found this because over the years, my clients would receive 100% on mental health by itself. And the VA calls this their 100 plus 60 rule. And when you're 100% on mental health by itself and 60 human math, it could be 30, 30, 30, 20, 20, 20, whatever it is that adds up to 60 or above. Then you get paid some back pay on that, which is usually about 10 months worth on today's time frames. About 10 months. It is pretty standard with the VA. So 10 months worth of back pay, and then you get paid about $400 something a month for the rest of your life. So I currently get $428 a month on that, and it took me about 10 months to get it for myself, and I got $4,000 in back pay. So there you go. CRSC, like I mentioned earlier, and on the slide it says $2,000. It's now like $3,000. So yeah, about $3,000 a month, and that's a combat related special compensation. And I know a lot of you, as soon as I say that, you start removing yourself from the table. Don't remove yourself from the conversation. I had a retired Green Beret say, Albert, I didn't go to combat like you guys did. Come on, man. And again, the VA, this is where I'm going to say rotisserie here. The VA does things like they'll say, they used to call it combat modalities. Now they call it like playing war, and they're going to change it again. But anyway, the basics are still the same. Did you wake up early? Did you march? Did you do buddy carries? All that kind of stuff. So that's like, did you play war? It doesn't say, did you go to war? So did you fly something? Did you drive something, drive tanks, stuff like that, that were, again, combat modality. Even if you say, well, I was a truck driver for 20 years and I was a truck driver out of the Army, you still wore a uniform, you wore helmets, all that kind of stuff. So combat modalities. All right, moving on. Student loan removal. This is something that's been around since the 90s, but in Trump's first term, he signed it in to be automatic, where you'll have, once you get to 100% permanent total, all of your student loans get wiped off your record. And there's a process that I could talk to you further about that, but I'm just trying to hit these and move, okay? I just want you to be more aware. Back pay. So like I said, the baseline I use for everybody is that in today's dollars, 2026, even going from 90 to 100, guys, is life-changing. It is basic family of four, $1,600+ a month, okay? So over a 10-month period, Army math here is you're going to get about $16,000 in back pay. So at minimum. Is there more than that out there? Sure, probably. But the VA is totally in control of back pay and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It is such a blessing to be at 100% permanent in total, because then you can start obviously receiving the money you've earned through your service. And then you can now have that peace of mind that next bubble here is good stuff. So mid-range money for your college, kids' college. So there's two of them, state level and federal level. And again, federal level requires you to be 100% permanent total. So most states do have yellow ribbon stuff, things like that. So most states will have a reduction or removal of the college fees and stuff like that. The big money chunks, you may have to spend obviously money on housing and books and stuff like that. But the big chunks, I mean, you're looking at about what I think average cost of school these days is like, whatever, 100 grand plus or something insane, right? I mean, my oldest kid, he's heading into his junior year right now of college. So yeah. And by the way, now chapter 35. So the bubble says $1,400, but my son now gets $1,600 a month, $1,600 a month stipend. So our children are supposed to go to school for free and get paid. $1,600. Now that's again on a sliding scale, so it means you have to go to school full time, which is not hard to do. Okay. All right, moving on to long range death benefits. There's two death benefits. One of them does require you to be 100% permanent total, and I call it a 10-year. It may be 8 years, maybe 9 years. So I call it 10 years. So you have to be married for 10 years and 100% permanent total for 10 years. It's an accidental death. So if you, on your 11th year of marriage and 100% PNT-dom, you fall off your roof hanging Christmas lights, VA should pay your wife about $2,000 a month for the rest of her life until she gets remarried and all this other kind of fine print stuff, right? So that's an accidental death, but that has time requirements to it, time restrictions to it, and it's lesser money, right? $2,000 a month, whereas CERT connected. So when I die, an old man in my bed, and my wife will know that the coroner will say something like Albert died of his internal stuff, shut down last night. My lawyer, Bill, is probably going to call the VA and say, hey, VA, we lost Albert last night. Got called home to heaven. You need to pay his wife $3,000 a month for the rest of her life, unless, fine print. But, pay her time now over. So again, guys, that's the quick brush through. And when you are out there shopping around, because guys, there's always going to be veterans. There's 20 million of us alive right now. 20 million living in and out of service. Okay. Not including family members. So when something happens to you guys, you're going to want to come to me. This is why my clients start with me and stay with me for years, because you guys, when something happens, good, bad, or indifferent, we are together. Albert, I need this medical stuff. Okay, cool. Well, let's get you connected with the doctors that are out there that can take care of whatever you need. Albert, I need the lawyers' help. Okay, well, lawyers have a seat at the table. So all that kind of stuff. So just saying, guys, if you think you know, you don't know, because I'm just saying, it's not trying to be mean, but Jesus does give us the authority to call out two things. One is the bullshit, and just to say the truth. So I'm just calling out the bullshit out there. If people aren't telling you about, hey, I'm happy to tell you about pay charts that I'm putting in front of you. And I'm happy to tell you about, excited to tell you about that 100% permanent total is where you should be as quickly and compliantly as humanly possible. And I've got lawyers and all that kind of stuff and other people at the round table here to help you through all that stuff. If people aren't telling you yes and, yes and, yes and, if you're not being told yes and, you are being lied to. So I know there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I don't know how many people are getting stuff on Facebook, but apparently like every week there's a new, hey, I'm now helping veterans guys too. Well, shit, man. So I know there's a lot of white noise out there. So I'm just saying, guys, is slow down, focus. I've been around for almost a decade, delivering over 10, again, God's grace here, delivering over $10 billion to the deadliest humans on earth. And when I go to Tampa and I see soft week above my head back, I'm not a soft guy. I'm not a ninja, but I get hugs from killers, soft week. So I'll take a hug from a Navy SEAL any day over internet bullshit. So, because what those guys say is, Albert, love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. God bless. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, guys. That's it for today. We'll see you next time. God bless. Take care.